The Human Rights Act does what it says on the tin. It protects every human being in the United Kingdom, just because they're alive.
My name is Ban. I live with my 80-year-old mum and my 2 daughters. We came to the UK in January 2014 and we've been here for 4 months. My country was not safe to be in. There's a lot of trouble. We managed to go to Syria for 2 years and things seemed to be going well. We were really happy and life was great. But then things started going really wrong. The killing started. It wasn't safe for us. There were bombings, car bombs and everything. I was really worried to send my daughters to school and just imagine. It's really, really, really hard. My daughters were only 6 and 11 years old when we were sent to stay in Romania for 35 days in a camp. There were about 10 or 11 people in the same room and it wasn't nice. There was that hope that we were on our way to England. Then it was better than staying and being vulnerable.
I'm Abdi, and I was 9 years old when we fled my country because of the civil war. It was hard for us to walk and flee from it, but there was a war, and people were killing each other, so we had to go to the nearest border in Kenya. It took us almost 7 days to arrive in Kenya, and most of the time we were crossing from forest to forest, and there were wild animals like lions and hyenas. The worst thing was, there was no water and no food. People were dying on the roads. Old people were left behind. People were forced to leave their mothers behind. We were registered and taken to a refugee camp. We grew up in the camp. We went to school there. Not schools like there are now, but schools in 1991. People would learn under the shade of a tree about subjects they'd never even heard of. At the refugee camp, everything was a pilot project. The UN only expects about 30,000 people in the camp, but more and more kept coming in, and the people were doubling and doubling. People were looting each other's property with their guns. People were raping girls. They'd take the tent that you'd just been given.
In a way, whilst human rights are for everyone, they are needed most by the most marginalised and disenfranchised people in society, and in modern Britain, that group is refugees and asylum seekers.
It was early in 2009 that we were told that my family name was fixed for resettlement. They'd asked if we'd had any friends or relatives in any particular country, but we had no connections, we had nobody. That is where the United Kingdom came to help. The embassy could have said no, but they didn't, and so the process started in 2009 and we arrived in December 2010. We had no idea of life in the UK. We hadn't seen any photos or films. The only thing we had to go on was when we had seen British money, and everybody expected different things until we arrived. Fortunately, we were taken to the house. I couldn't see a bed and thought we'd be sleeping on the floor like we had been. Then we were taken upstairs. There was a whole second floor with bedrooms. We found it hard to adapt. It's such a different way of life. We never used cookers, we never used heaters or electricity, and we had big problems with communication. It was very hard to adapt to life. But I was lucky.
In Britain, the obvious categories of disenfranchised people are refugees and asylum seekers. These people have no voice at the ballot box. Their only real protection comes through the law. That's why they need human rights laws, otherwise they will get no protection at all.
And then 10 months later, we had the news that we were going to England. We couldn't believe it. My mother was even able to come over with us and start our new life. Coming here, we didn't know if we were going to have a house or friends. It was strange at the beginning, but now we're used to it. Sometimes I feel depressed and I cry and I think to myself, come on, there is a God. But I feel sorry for my friends back in Syria. It's an absolute mess. The buildings have all fallen down. Some of the people don't even have bread to eat. There's no life, there's no hope. I'm still a little bit, at least there's a hope for a future for my family.
It happened to me, and it could happen to you.
You would want to be protected.